Hey there folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Just when you thought we weren't going to get the fence project finished, right here. So, I'll let him ride by real quick. That's Luke. So Luke with Farm Fence Solutions just showed up. He called me about 2 days ahead of time. He brought the Evo out and we're going to get busy. We've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 yards of wire to pull, and we'll have this nearly 30-acre section of pasture all taken care of. Today we're going to have some fun. We're going to teach you guys some knot tying skills. We're going to talk to you a little bit about termination knots. We're going to talk to you a little bit about how we're doing all of what we're doing, and we'll talk to you a little bit about the fencing and the tornado wire that we're using today. So come along, we're going to have a little bit of fun wrapping up the fence job for this year here on the farm. Rad.
I ain't afraid of work, I ain't afraid of play, I ain't afraid to get the job done and do it my own damn way. I ain't afraid of life, times like this. If you mess with my freedom, I'll tell you just what you can kiss. That's right.
Alright guys, so where we're going is the other side of the farm. So this is a 150-acre farm here on the Stoney Ridge, and we're driving approximately, I don't know, a quarter of a mile away from the house over here. Right now we're just building our herd of cattle. So we have 10 cows. We just had a new baby. His name is Cody. He's a very cute baby. We'll get you some footage of Cody here at the end of the video. But what we've got to do here is get our fencing set up, and we bought bare land. So if you guys are out looking for land and looking for property, you know, this whole pandemic thing has got folks scared to death, and people are, you know, moving back to the land. There's a huge movement back to the land. So hopefully you'll find some of the stuff that we have here on the Stoney Ridge Farmer channel very informative, stuff that's educational, stuff that's fun, and it's just kind of what to expect when you buy a piece of land. Now we bought our piece of land and it didn't have any fences or anything on it, and a lot of it was overgrown brush and disaster, just like you kind of see right here. So what we're doing is cleaning up the land and putting in our fences. So this will effectively fence around 85 total acres of land here on the farm. Now here in the state of North Carolina, typically 1 acre to 1.5 acres per cow is kind of the norm, but we want to do that a little bit on a larger scale. So again, we've got 9 cows right now. We'll shut the Kubota off. We've got 9 cows right now, 10 cows, sorry. And what we want to do is expand our herd to about 85 to 90 cows, maybe even 100 cows. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be clearing more land, and Luke with Farm Fence Solutions and Tornado Wire have partnered up with us here on the farm and the YouTube channel, and that's what we're doing. We're building the fences. So we're clearing off new sections of land every year, and we'll fence those sections every year, and we'll show you guys cool new techniques every year. Good stuff. So let's go find Luke and see what he's doing. What we've got to do is pick up rolls of wire and stretch them throughout this last little section of fence. By the way, jump in, subscribe to the channel, pound the like button. This is where we're going to build our farm stay cabin, so you guys can come and you can learn. We're going to be building a shop, a cabin, all this stuff, so you can come and enjoy the country life, or you can come here and learn. It's going to be great, man. This is something super duper special. I'm really proud to have Luke here, and I'm really proud of all the hard work we've done. These are the posts that we're going to be installing the fencing on today. True farm vlog today. So we've got the girls on the smallest utility vehicle you've ever seen. This is the Polaris Ranger 150 EFI. It is, well, let's see what Kate has to say. Kate's Luke's daughter. What do you think about this thing?
It's awesome.
Are you having fun this Stoney Ridge?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. She's a good driver.
Is she?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Awesome. So they're going to be having fun zipping around on some newly cleared land that we have over here while me and Luke get the work done. Rad. What a great life. So what you just saw there is the Evo 1 picking up a roll of wire. So it has a boom on the outside right there that can just roll in and pick up a roll of wire. Pretty cool, very interesting. And we are taking this roll of wire, and the bottom of the roll, or the bottom part of the wire, is at the bottom. I gotta get out of the way here. So, in other words, you put the wire on the way you want it to go. And our fence line goes down through here, and it also goes down through here. Now we're gonna do, it's kind of early in the morning, we're gonna do what we have to do in the sunshine right now, and we're gonna do what we can do in the shade in the afternoon, which will be through the woods right here. And there's some twisty, tight little turns. This is the existing pasture, and this is what we built last year, okay? And you can see the fence line goes down, it goes around, and this is around a 22-acre pasture. What we're fencing in now is this huge pasture right here, a little bit of forest and some bottom land. Next year's fencing project will be a cross fence from this gate all the way across around that tree line right there. So we'll be able to section off the upper land from the lower land. So in the warm season and the hot season of the year, we want to be in an area where the cows can get shade. It's very, very important. So we want to be in the cool place down by the creek in the dry and hot season, and we want to be up here in the cool and wet season. Lots of science going on here, guys, and we're going to be intensively grazing as soon as we get our herd built up enough. Now we're going to get Luke, and we're going to show you guys how we tie off to our corner post down here. We'll have a lot more information on the ProTech Evo in October when we go out to the fall fence forum, and a lot more education in case you guys are building your fence with wood posts. So we're using steel posts here because they're gonna last a lot longer, they're easier to drive, it's a quicker process, and that's just what we wanted here on the farm. We want a fence that's gonna last 100 years, not a fence that's gonna last 40 years. So when I'm 80, I don't wanna come out here and have to rebuild my fence or shut down my farm. I want my kids to be able to keep the farm running. So that's what this is all about. That's an all-in-one fencing machine. It's a track machine. So basically everything you need in order to build fence is on this machine. Really, really cool. What Luke's doing now is cutting loose. We have Titan 134812, and we'll explain to you what that wire is. It's a Titan. It's a specific type of knot, and it's all tornado wire. Woo!
I'm Luke with Farm Fence Solutions in Worthington, Indiana. If you're interested in any of our products, you can visit farmfencesolutions.com. We've got an online store there, or feel free to call 844-48-FENCE anytime, and we'll be glad to help you through your project. What we're stretching today is a 134812 Tornado Titan. It's a fixed knot, high tensile woven wire product from Tornado Wire. As you can see, the 13 designates 13 line wires, 48 is the total height in inches, and the 12 is the stay spacing. So these vertical stays are spaced at 12 inches. So what makes the Titan knot superior to, let's take a hinge joint for example, is that at an intersection here of the line wire and the stay wire, a hinge joint is just wrapped individually and then continues on down to the next line wire. Where with Titan, we've got a solid vertical stay, which stiffens the fence considerably, which means fewer line posts are needed. What we recommend 134812 for is a general livestock fence. In a situation where there's not an extreme amount of pressure, it makes a great pasture fence. It also makes an excellent goat fence, especially horn goats. So say a horn goat, you know what they're going to do is climb the fence and stick their head through. With a 12-inch stay spacing, they get their head back out. A 6-inch stay spacing, and then they're stuck. So this makes us a really superior goat fence, sheep fence, cattle fence. We've had some customers use it for horses. We recommend a much tighter stay spacing for horses to keep a foot out, but we've had some customers that had success using it as a horse fence. So it's a great all-around stock fence. It's also economical. Given the 660-foot rolls, that's fewer splices, it's faster to install, and it's less expensive than a 6-inch or a 3-inch stay spacing.
So when we were building this fence, and we built 1 mile of fence in 1 day, I'll post a link to that video up top right here and at the end. I'll just post it at the end of this video. So what he's doing is kind of getting these knots out of the way so that they're not in the way when we go to tie this off. And we're going to teach you how to tie a termination knot. Now Luke does his termination knots just a little bit different than other people. Everybody does it a little bit different, but there's some education to be had here, especially if you're building your fence yourself. I have been super impressed with this tornado wire. It's been the best. I mean, it just has been awesome. We've had trees fall over on this stuff. I just cut the tree off and boing, it just pops right back up. We did have some people trespassing on the farm down here, and we'll show you in a later video, maybe later on this video or in a future video, how we repair that. Somebody got up on top and popped a wire, so we'll show you that.
What we're doing is tying this 13-48-12 off. So we've got 13 line wires and 13 termination knots to tie. This is a really tight corner. I prefer to tie them from the other side, but we can't. Obviously, there's no room to fit in there. But once we get down to the other end where we can have a little bit more room to work, you'll be able to see better. We'll show you some termination knots. But for the meantime, we're going to get these 13 tied in and get back to work.
All right, Luke, so you got your 13 line wire knots all tied up. Next, we're gonna take the Evo 1.
Right.
And you're just gonna take off out through there, and we're gonna go down to a post, but we're gonna pull to the inside of that post. Is that right?
That's right. We're gonna go to the inside. We're gonna keep the wire on the inside of an inside corner.
Gotcha.
All the way around without tying off. So
gotcha.
It's gonna be one continuous pull clear to the other end.
Cool. This is going to be fairly technical, guys, so you're going to get a lot of education here in just a minute. If we didn't have the Evo machine, we would just be laying this out and just rolling it out. Is that right?
Yeah, we've got we've got a skid steer stretcher from ProTech Force 5. We brought it. We're down a skid steer.
Gotcha.
Or we would just unroll it by hand.
Yep. Yeah. Luke didn't know, but Skitty Bop is in the shop right now. Skitty Bop had a major hydraulic leak. I anticipate having to spend a couple $1,000 on Skitty Bop, which kind of sucks. Really, Luke is telling me too, need to just go on and bite the bullet and
get a track machine.
Get a track machine with a cab, but I'm not ready. I don't want to go in debt. I want to stay out of debt. Let's build this fence.
Do it. So what we're doing at this end is stretching an end strain with a set of strain right boundary strainers and a strain right wedge bar. We're going to pull right here to this terminal post, and what's going to happen is this wire, because we want to stay to the inside but we still want to maintain the longest stretch of fence possible, we're going to come to the inside, come right around the post with our tails, and then we'll use crimp sleeves to crimp on the rest of the wire, and on down the line we go. And what that does is, first off, it eliminates 2 sets of termination knots, which saves time. And the second thing it does is extends this stretch of fence, makes it even longer, so it makes it more effective as a shock absorber. This is a strain right boundary strainer, available at shopfarmfencesolutions.com. Josh will put a link in the description below. But it's a pretty simple apparatus. It just walks the chain straight up the line. So we've found that strain right makes the best fence tools in the industry, especially on the stretching end. So that's all we use, and it's all we recommend.
Oh, that's it. Whew. I think that's it. I need a lung transplant.
So what we're doing here is we've tied off the other end and we've stretched down to this corner, and we want to keep the wire on the inside of the post, also around this corner. So to do that, what we've done is we've stretched it tight with strain right boundary strainers and a strain right wedge net board. We've stripped our knots off where we can take the tail around the post and bring it right down the inside of the stretch of fence that's going to go this way. We've got a gate hole, it's about another 500 feet down this way. When we get to that one, then we'll pull it with the winch on the Evo, and then we'll be able to take these out. We'll have good consistent tension all the way through our corner. We won't have to take the time to make termination knots here, which would be 26 of them, two stretches of 13, 48, 12. So we're going to save considerable time, and it's going to be a stronger fence. So as you can see, we're coming down this fence line on the inside. The tail comes around the post, and once we crimp on our next roll of wire, then we're still on the inside of the fence, and once this is pulled tight, we'll easily be able to let these boards off and maintain tension. So the reason that we're doing this, we could easily just run the wire around the outside, but we wanted to show some circumstances dictate that the wire must be on the inside. This isn't one of those. We could have easily gone just right around the outside, but if you needed to keep it on the inside, say it was a customer request or it just had to be, this is how we would do it. All right, so this corner assembly, we've got this strainer post is a 4-inch by 10 foot, and then we've got these two struts, which are a 2.5-inch SS40 that run to a 3-inch by 6 foot that's driven all the way in the ground that we call stubby or a block. Now this is a perfect situation to create some uplift on a post. So there's also what you can't see here. We did this a few months ago, set the post and did all the welding, but there is a tie down post that's in here. So we've basically got a foot on this strainer post, but we've got a post driven in, an 8-foot post driven in at an angle and then welded subsurface to stop the lift of this that we'll get by pulling in 2 directions on it.
So we're here at this corner, and what we're going to be using are called crimp sleeves. Here's what the box looks like. They're strain right crimp sleeves, and this is what they look like. We'll show you an up-close shot of crimping here in just a minute. What we need to do is make sure that the wires are even this direction, they're the same length, and they're the same length this direction right here, so it doesn't look like a jumbled up mess. So that's what I'm doing right now, is kind of matching up these wires. So I'll take this one, kind of pull it tight compared to the last one, just like so. And then I'll take our Knipex or Nipex cutters. These are miniature bolt cutters. I'll post a link in the video description. They are kick butt bolt cutters for sure. And we'll just cut just like that. Okay, now with our scrap pieces of wire, we'll either haul them off, put them in a bucket, or simply drop them down in our post. They're not going to hurt anything down in our post. That's no more littering than this post is littering. So this is going to be here for a long, long time. A lot of folks have said, well, that's going to cause your post to rust prematurely on the inside. It's not going to cause the post to rust prematurely on the inside, no more than it would on the outside, because galvanized and galvanized. It's galvanized on the outside, it's galvanized on the inside, and so is the wire. So if we run into a pinch where we've got a little bit of a bent piece of wire right here, which is what we do have, what we'll do is we will not use our Nipex, our Knipex cutters. We'll take, there they are. We'll take our Nipex pliers right here and straighten that wire out just a little bit, just like so, so we can slide the crimp sleeve right over top. And you want to be consistent, so if you go in the top part of the crimp sleeve with the one coming this way, then always do that, and that way it looks like a nice neat job. So we'll attach these together. We have 13 line wires. Once we get them all done, all crimped together, or all installed, then we'll go back through with a crimping tool and pinch them down tight. When will the weather ever stop being hot? So guys, we got all these crimps done. Everything looks super awesome. All of them are spliced, and Luke has the Evo and he's heading that way. So there's a gate just inside the wood line right there, and that gate will lead to another piece of land that we're clearing. It's probably a total of around 30 acres, something like that, that we're clearing on the other side of the farm. So hopefully after this, that will be fenced 2 years from now. The next section of fence we're gonna do is a cross fence, like we already said, right through here. And then we'll do another section up here. So year after year, we'll learn more and more. North Carolina weather, guys. We got dumped on just now. Look at the water puddles right here. So the last thing we got to do is we got to take the net strainer board here. We've got to put it down just past the strut that goes down into the ground right here. And again, this is termination post where we're going to be hanging a gate. Actually, the gate hangers are over on that post, but this is where a gate is going to go. That strut goes down into the ground, and a 6-foot pipe is driven in the ground right there. It's welded there and it's welded here. So that's pipe fence. That's pipe fence 101. So I've got these little wedges right here hanging on my back. I've got to take this, put it on the net wire, hammer it down tight, and then we're going to take the winch on the Evo, which Luke is getting busy with right now. We'll hook to it, pull it tight, then we will tie off here and we'll release up there on the upper end where we just now had the strainer boards pulling it to that corner. Lots going on, lots going on. Stick around to the end of the video. So we're just going to do this section right here. Then we're going to go up and we're going to do a quick repair on a line that broke where somebody was trespassing on the farm and they climbed the fence and they bounced off of the top of it and broke a line. What Luke just learned just now by working with me was do not walk into the path of wind when a 265 pound man burps.
It's stanky.
It's
Stanky.
it's a bad smell. All right, so what we're doing here, we got the winch. You can see the strainer board pulling. That's the net board pulling tight all the way down there. Okay, we're gonna pull as tight as this winch will pull till the machine starts sliding in the mud. That's it. Now this little weight vest looking thing right here is in case that cable breaks, it won't go bling, it'll just break and fall down. Cool. And then we're gonna tie a termination knot down here. All right guys, so Luke's got to tie off, but we're up high, so I've got to get on here and push down a little bit on the wire so he can start tying. We're gonna get here. That's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we're tying a termination knot here on an end strain. We've pulled this tornado wire up with the Protec Evo, the winch on that. And termination knot, the purpose of it is to center the wire so that the pull is coming directly off the post. And it also, instead of just doing a plain wrap that would come unwrapped or untwisted, this will stay nice and tight just how it is the day that we tie it. So we start by coming under. We're going to go over. We've come under.
Yep.
Now we're going to go over, and as we go over, we're going to roll that where this loop is kind of laid over flat instead of being vertical. And we bring our tail through, under, and as we pull this up, we want this to be kind of elongated, and we want this loop to be laid flat. We don't want that loop stood up straight. And we're going to take one lazy loop, which is just kind of a long wrap, and so there's our lazy loop, and we're going to go 2 tight wraps. There's one. Second tight wrap, come a little bit past center, and with the crank handle that you've already got in the wire, all you got to do is wring that off, and now that's nice and smooth, where if we cut that, that would be sharp. And so the reason that we're going to lay this loop over sideways, if you were to try to get a hold of your finger with the loop stood straight up, that's the same as that wire if we stand that loop up. Whereas if you turn your loop sideways, it's got some friction, and that's what holds on a termination knot. Tying a termination knot, we've come under, we're going to go over, and then as we rolled that over, we want that to be flat. Come under again, over, one lazy loop, and 2 tight wraps. Come just a little bit past center and wring it straight off. Nice and smooth.
So that's it, guys. We got nasty weather on top of us, and we have got to get busy. So
Time to gas on it.
Time to put the gas on it. Luke's going to finish tying these up, and we're going to start moving on and moving and shaking. We've got about, I don't know, 2 more rolls of wire to unroll, 1.5-ish, so something like that. Rest of our day is taken up. I want to thank you all so much for watching the video today. I hope you learned a little bit about termination knots, about building fence. This would be the same if you were doing wood post too, right?
Just the same, yep.
Just the same. Okay, cool. So guys, thanks a lot. Pound the like button. I hope you enjoy this. There'll be a link at the end of this to our fencing series. Actually, I'll post it right up here. Click that and you can go to our fencing series. There's tons of great information out there. Probably, I'm going to say 40 videos with me and Luke and other fence builders. So pretty awesome stuff. Thanks a lot for joining us here. Don't forget, Tornado Wire, Farm Fence Solutions. Luke's a great guy. Just a wealth of knowledge. No matter where you live in the country, Luke, you have a contractor connection. Am I right?
We can get somebody wherever you are.
Gotcha. Cool. So what is it? 844-48 fence. Guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge Farm. All right. Woo!
Well, come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge.
Okay, guys, so here's the situation. You can see right here beside Luke, this is loose, okay? Some raccoon hunters came over on the property. They lost their dog. They came across the property. I found them in the middle of the night over here, and they jumped the fence instead of going over the gate or some kind of way here, and broke this right at the knot. So what Luke, well, it's not really right at the knot. It's kind of on the edge of the knot. So what Luke is going to do is show us how to make a quick repair. Now this repair could also double as if a tree fell on the fence too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll put the camera on Luke.
Okay, so what's happened here on a square knot fence or anywhere that there's a hinge, you can get some compression into the wire to crimp that where it doesn't slide. It's a necessary part of making the woven wire. And so what that's done is where we've tied that just happened to be right where one of those mash points was, which put a little brittle spot on the wire. And then so when there was an impact, that's where it broke. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's not the end of the world. We're going to cut this old knot out of the way and just crimp a new piece of high tensile wire on and tie it back, and the problem will be solved.
So now you just got bare wire right here.
Just a bare wire. We're going to use a strain-right crimp sleeve. This is 12.5 gauge high tensile wire, 2.5 mil. Just crimp this on, and when you're crimping, putting a crimp sleeve on, you want to crimp that all the way back to the end. So don't leave a spot on your crimp sleeve uncrimped. And then we've got to tension this top line up just enough to get it back where it was so it matches the rest of the wire. When you're using a chain strainer that does not have a swivel on it, it's good to get your chain nice and straight. Saves a lot of headache down the line. So now that we've tensioned this back, we've got a nice even line again. All we've got to do is tie ourselves a termination knot. Two tight wraps. You're gonna wring that off where it's nice and smooth. And then we just let this pressure back off. Keep your teeth out of the way. Problem solved.
That's how you make a quick, easy repair when you break part of your fence. That's what happens, and sometimes that happens. So could get some livestock pressure on here, could cause it to break, it could get trees falling on it, anything like that. So now we know what to do. All right?
How about that Mr. Beast guy? Maybe you should just start giving away millions of dollars. Man, he can get some views, can he?
Yeah.
He makes Casey Neistat look like a chump. Absorber, if that was to get an impact from an animal or from a twin engine.
I need a lung transplant. Yeah, I'm down there slinging film.
Ah, the new guy wadded up 2 boundary strainer chains and just threw them in a pile. A little bit of mud on them.
What was his name?
I think it started with a J.
Don't put 2 chains together. I just learned that. Mr. Gibson's about ready to leave now. Skip dinner and adult beverages.
That ain't gonna happen.
What are you doing down here? Let me tell you what we're doing. Hired a man with a bulldozer and drew a straight line through the woods. I said, make it wide enough where I can put a fence through here. You know what he said?
What'd he say?
Well, when I build a fence, I just put it through the woods however it goes. And I said, we're building straight fences around here. That ain't no straight fence. And I'll tell you what, it feels like it's getting heavier as I go.
So what are we gonna do next time?
Yamato Chinese Japanese food.
Dozer man, you fired.
If y'all don't want to roll out your fence on the ground like this, you can call a company like Farm Fence Solutions, and they have what you call a fence unrolling helicopter. And it's right here. It'll get you through the woods, no problem.
How you liking it?
I love this fence. Tornado wire, baby.
Nothing better.
Nothing better.